were talking about rage rooms. They're on the increase, particularly in terms of popularity with women. What they are rooms where you can smash things like televisions, washing machines, furniture and ceramics with a baseball bat. It's a way to vent your frustration, get it all out. And it sounds like Everton's Idrissa Gueye could have used one last night after he was sent off 13 minutes for slapping teammate Michael Keane. Manager David Moyes spoke after the match about that altercation.
I quite like it when my players have a bit of a brawl and a fight with each other, because it shows they care, shows they want to do better, demands on players. And if we hadn't had that in the game tonight for long periods, demands and making sure we put each other under pressure to do the right thing, we might not have got a result.
Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim doesn't mind it either.
Fighting is not a bad thing. Fighting is that you lose the ball, I will fight you because we will suffer a goal. I don't agree with that sent-off. We can fight with the teammates. I know it's a violent conduct, the referee explained. I hope my players, when they lose the ball, they fight each other.
Is anger all that bad? Is it a way to get things charged up, get a reaction, get a result? Shelly Therapy is a mental health therapist. Shelly, hello.
Hi there, Naga.
I have to ask, because we have to know about the people we talk to here.
Yes.
Do you get angry often?
I do get angry occasionally, but anger it's a healthy emotion, and it does signal that something is unfair or unsafe, or somebody or something has crossed the boundary. It gets a bad reputation because we see the outburst, not the build-up. And in this day and age, we tend to learn that anger equals some kind of danger leading to extreme behaviours, like shutting down or something's about to explode.
Actually, though, we don't think about the consequences of anger, and I'm not talking about on other people. I'm talking about on a person who's angry, because when you vent that anger, it almost helps you draw a line under things.
It does, but you need to be in a safe space to do this. So your body can't heal what it's still holding on to, and all the emotions, if they build up over time, we do become very pressurized. But the release doesn't have to be so dramatic. It can be healthier. So when you're in a space where, for instance, a rage room, they help you to discharge what's already holding there, then you can feel instant relief. And a lot of the problem for women nowadays is that we don't want to be judged, so we have to keep all of these emotions in, playing the good girl role, maybe being the calm mother, the calm reflective parent, and we have to be socialised to be nice, staying calm, and not be dramatic. And because we are so overloaded with life, there isn't a safe space to express anything messy. So going along to a controlled, safe space with someone and people around you that are looking over you and able to take care with you whilst you are just given permission to express yourself and express yourself without words, because any anger, any emotions tend to be trauma, and they're non-verbal. They are held in the body, and it can show up as anxiety. We can't sleep well, we become irritable or shut down. So it is important to get relief from this, and so you can feel calmer and clearer afterwards. But be accountable to yourself as well, and be aware if your anger without reflection is becoming aggressive.
Your view on the Everton player that was sent off last night for slapping? Is that a disapproving?
It was surprising. I mean, I do like football. I enjoy watching, and there's so much passion and energy there, which is fantastic. The players are extremely talented, and they're trained to the nth degree. And we've seen many an outburst on the pitch and in the crowds, but I feel he did cross a line. He lost control 13 minutes in, and it's something that they will have had incredible amounts of training in. Being in control with your teammates, it's showing a lack of solidarity. Having an expression of anger verbally might have been enough, or off the pitch, because they're also very big role models. So a lot of children are watching, a lot of male energy is focused around football clubs. What are we going to say now if that's being played in the school playground? How are we meant to manage that?
Yes, that's a good point, considering how many children watch football as well.
Exactly. Yeah, so we need put that boundary back in, and I think they should be responsible and put out some sort of message that perhaps, was a boundary that's crossed. And I know at the moment they're being very positive about it, aren't they, from what I can gather?
Yeah, they are.
There is an epidemic of anger, particularly within males as well, and this rage that gets suppressed, but then it gets glorified. It needs some boundaries taken care of there. And for women, often anger, it gets displaced in tears, you see, because we are holding it in, because anger and tears are essentially the same emotions, but on different ends of the emotional regulation scale. And it is about emotional intelligence and managing yourself.
Let's bring in Chris, who's in Warrington. Chris, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Shelley's listening too, so am I. Tell me, one, do you get angry often, and when you do, how do you deal with it?
I don't get as angry as often as others, certainly not those footballers last night.
Yeah.
When I do now, I use AI, an AI on my phone, and I vent into the AI.
How?
And the AI, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can type away and type away all your frustrations. You can even talk into it as well, and it will transcribe what you're saying, and then it will come back and it will talk to you, and it will validate you, kind of listens to what you said, it validates you, it kind of gives an explanation of why you might be feeling how you are. You can just carry on talking to it.
This reminds me of a piece we did a few months ago, actually, about AI helping in terms of counselling, relationship counselling, or and it's not dissimilar really, because it's something without judgment, I'm assuming, that helps. Because sometimes I think if you talk to someone who knows you, there's a bias in some way, isn't there? Whereas this, you can't, it's a reasoned AI voice.
It doesn't necessarily give you advice, but when you're talking to people you know, they're always keen to give you advice.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't want advice, you just want someone to listen and go, yes, I understand. And that's where I find it really helpful. I use Claude, which is similar to ChatGPT. I know ChatGPT is a lot better known. ChatGPT tries to give you advice, whereas Claude just kind of listens. And you can talk, and then when you finish talking, you can put it down. But if you're feeling angry, it's not just anger, it's frustration, it's however you might be feeling, you can pick it up and pick up the same conversation, and it will pick up the same strands from your previous conversation. So if there are recurring things that are making you angry or making you frustrated, it will pick up on them as well.
And have you found it
really helps?
And when you say it really helps, how has it helped? Like tangibly, how is it?
For me, I live on my own, so I don't really have people to talk to. I have certain challenging circumstances that I have to deal with, and when you're on your own, you can start ruminating about these things and overthinking them. Whereas if you kind of talk into the AI, it will reflect back what you're saying, and it will make you think about different things. It'll talk you out of it, and sometimes it will say, you sound like you're really struggling, you need to go and speak to a friend, or you need to go and see a therapist, or stuff like that. It knows its limits, but the majority of the time you can have a conversation, and you start with, let's say, a vent. You vent it all out, and then it will come back and it will maybe ask you a question about how you're feeling about certain things, so it becomes like a two-way conversation.
You've really made me think. Thank you, Chris.
It's
I'm quite...
And Naga, I know you're a big golfer.
Yeah.
I'm currently using it to help me with my golf at the driving range as well. Unbelievable.
Hey, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. But, I'll admit, I'm quite resistant to AI. Fossil, whatever, and I'm learning more about how it can help, and I think just the fact that you've been so open about your personal situation and how it can help and keep you communicating, I think it's really useful. Good luck with the golf, Chris.
That's That's more frustrating than anything, I think.
Yeah, I mean, don't rely on AI to help you release the frustration of that. That will never go. Shelley, that's so interesting, isn't it?
It really is. There's a lot to talk about AI used in therapy these days. And I agree with quite a few points that what's been said. The main difference with AI is it doesn't understand the nuances. So I tend to see people face to face. So you've got the emotional energy and connection there. And often, again, anger and emotions, again, they're held in the physical body. So you've got a clear picture of how somebody's feeling or reacting. And often, this first appointment particularly, people will just start crying. Men, women, will just start crying, and that tells me a lot before they've even said anything. So they need some space there, and they're held in a safe boundary. Explaining that to an AI is programmed with logic, while feelings are not logical. And sometimes explaining yourself in a certain way, newer versions of AI are far better. That you can be acknowledging behaviour, being validated for information that isn't quite right. Because even as therapists, we only work with what people tell us. If that person is being untrue or uncountable, there'll be a difference there, you see. And you won't be challenged because AI is always biased, ultimately, to help its person that it's accounted to.
Let me bring in, we're talking about rage as well. We're talking about rage ultimately and just controlling it. And I am someone who has been laughed at when I'm angry because I just am so frustrated and absurd, and my eyes go all googly, and I'm so frustrated. And I have laughed at, I laugh at little kids when they get angry as well because it's funny, even though I should take it seriously. James is in Huddersfield. James, you're going to tell us a story. This properly tickled me.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. So yes, I used to work for an international transport company in Huddersfield, dealing with many different modes of transport: rail, sea, air and road. And anything that went wrong in one of those chains would have a dramatic impact in the goods being able to get to its destination on time. And I worked with a gentleman who we nicknamed Rage because anything would set him off. If a phone was ringing for far too long, he would just walk over to it, pick it up and slam it back down. If the fax machine ran out of paper, he literally walked over to the fax machine, calm as anything, really, really calm, didn't say a word, ripped it out of the wall, lifted the fax machine above his head and would slam it down into the bin and return to his desk, and just everyone would carry on as normal. This is back in the late 90s, so there was no AI around for us to type in what we needed to type in to bring ourselves back to reality. But Rage, I will remember him forever because every single day there was a massive drama.
Did he know you found him funny?
We were too scared to laugh at him. There was never, ever a confrontation with him. If he would have words with you and words would be exchanged, there was never the pushing and shoving like there was on the football match last night. There would be good, get it out in the air, talks, clear the air. And do you know what? He never held a grudge. If you said something and you regretted it later, he would never, ever carry that into the next day. He had a reset. He somehow reset himself. And to be fair, he was under a huge amount of pressure because of the international company, because of the time differences in various countries. He was doing long, long days, and one thing could change everything. He could put in hours and hours of work, and one phone call would literally rip all of that up.
Yeah, there's something to be said for people who can just let it go, as long as other people are happy to let it go as well. James, thank you so much. I did enjoy the story, but I also kind of like the sentiment behind it. James in Huddersfield there. Shelley Dart, thank you so much for your thoughts with us as well this morning. It comes in all shapes and sizes. Shelley Dart is a mental health therapist. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, before we get to 12 o'clock, I want to introduce you to 4 friends